Hi, my name is Ursula Whitcher, and I want to tell you about my book, North Continent Ribbon. I started writing North Continent Ribbon because I was obsessed with the planet I had imagined, named Nakarat. The stories that I wanted to tell on Nakarat were stories about unions, about revolution, really about all kinds of collective action. And I realized that we don't have great societal scripts for telling that kind of story. We want one hero who swoops in and saves the day and solves everything. One of the few places that I did find stories about people working together to slowly make change over long amounts of time was in Ursula Le Guin's stories about the Hainish. I want to read to you now from my book about Nakarat. The viewpoint character here has just been hanging out with some friends in a fun new city, and she's about to make a terrible mistake. The problem here is that they've run out of ordinary fun things to do. And so they've decided that they're going to draw lots, and the two losers are going to go before the judge and get married. So Aizu here is about to marry her fiancé, Ryet. We went to a law court with a grand facade, and modules of rooms as snarled as a student circuit board. The steps were covered with people posing, the corridors were hushed. The clerk who took our names had wrapped his stylus in an ergonomic rubber grip, like a child learning to write. The judge looked like my youngest aunt. She had the judge's wig, that timeless pale cascade that admits no obligation, and the West Continent air being much too grand and busy for the small room she was sitting in. But like my aunt, she wore too many rings, and also like my aunt, she talked with her hands, clicking the rings together to emphasize her certainty. She told us about her lineage as a scholar and her mentors in judgeship, and she made each of us state our name and place of birth. Just as I was beginning to think that getting married was like visiting a new physician, she clapped her hands, so not only her rings but all her bracelets jangled together, and asked, "How long is the contract?" Ryet and I exchanged glances. Ryet seemed unusually tentative. She was offering me a last chance to regret. But I didn't want to. I didn't want her to think she was an impulse or a bad holiday decision. That would have been insulting. A year and a day seemed almost as bad. I could have said 4 years, or 8, or a dozen years and months and days. But I was young, so young that at every step I felt I could bounce away from the planet weightless. And a dozen years felt like a less complimentary version of forever. I couldn't imagine forever with Ryet, but I wanted to. I said, a permanent contract. Ryet tucked her chin in the tiny nod that meant I am winning this round, and also, yes.